On your phone there?
Yeah. When we talked about the recruiter thing, make sure I said the right name.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I read all that stuff today and I was okay. I'm glad you did that.
It actually is fun. I mean,
Yeah.
sort of. I mean, it's a lot, but it's part of it.
All right. Well, I got 7 o'clock. So I'm gonna call this to order. Roll call. Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Here. Approval of the minutes?
Move to approve.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. All right, adoption of the agenda? Move to adopt? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. All right, presentations, proclamation for Black History Month. All right, who's coming up? Come on up here. I will give this to you guys. You can hold that one, and then you can all fight over what officer goes into when you get home. Okay. Whereas across the nation, February is recognized as Black History Month, and in 1976, the designation was formally adopted to honor and affirm its importance. It is imperative that we recognize the positive contributions to our community made by Black Americans, as well as the struggles they had to face. And whereas this year our nation has had a reawakening of our racist past, as well as the way racism continues to inform and direct our actions today, even in ways that we cannot discern. And whereas the community of Warrensburg helped multiple peaceful demonstrations following the model set by the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King to proclaim that Black Lives Matter, as well as desire to work together for peace and justice. And whereas from the determination, hard work, intelligence, and perseverance of members of this community, there has been valuable and lasting contributions in our schools, churches, social and economic institutions, and homes, even in the face of segregation and discrimination. And whereas during this month, all Americans are encouraged to reflect on past successes and injustices, look to the future, and continue to improve society so that we live up to the ideas of freedom, equity, and justice. We have come a long way, and yet we still have a long way to travel. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Brian Jacobs, Mayor of Warrensburg, Missouri, along with other members of the Warrensburg City Council, urge all of our citizens to work towards creating a community in which Black Americans are respected and recognized for their past, present, and future contributions in our community, the state, the county, and the world. Dated this 22nd day of February, 2021.
Excited because we're going to present a program tonight.
All right. All right. I'll take it. I actually think you're next if you want to stay up there. Yep. Celebration stories of Black History Month.
Good evening, members of the council. Thank you for having us on this evening. We're very excited to share with you some of our perspectives of the African-American experience here in our community. And so we try to have a multi-generational approach We had some very young students who were going to join us tonight, and unfortunately, they were unable to be here. But we celebrate them in their efforts to commemorate Black History Month with us. So the members that we do have here tonight, and we're going to share what we have for you. So I believe that on Zoom, we have Karen Levine, who is a long-standing member in our community. Karen has lived, been a lifelong resident, and I'll let her share her story.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this commemoration of Black History Month. I just want to say that I'm so thankful to be living at this time. I'm thankful for living in a city like Warrensburg. I feel like that I've had many opportunities here to grow as a Black person. I thank the Lord for my education that I started out receiving at 6 years old, north of Warrensburg at the East Lynn School, which was an all Black school, of course. And I had some very good teachers, four very good teachers. I feel like they brought me to where I am today. I'm thankful for when I did, when the schools were integrated. I came into Warrensburg to reschool, and I can truly say that in this city, I've received a very good education. I earned the grades that I got in school. I was treated fairly. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the progress our city has made in racial relations and where we are today. And as our mayor just said, of course, we know there's things that we still need to work on, but I'm grateful for being able to live in a city that I can say that I feel safe when I go out on the streets and I go into the stores. I am thankful for the young Black and young white citizens of this city that are so nice to me when I go into the stores and things, and they hold the doors open for me and greet me and just treat me like a senior citizen in a very well, do very well the way they treat me. I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for our city. And my prayer tonight is that we will continue to grow and our young people here will be able, all of them, to receive the education that they want and be able to do what they want to do in their lives, that they will be encouraged each and every day to strive to be the very best that they can be. Thank you all for inviting me.
Thank you, Karen, for sharing your story. We appreciate you and your contribution to our community. Next, we will hear from Krista Collins. Krista is a teacher here in the Warrensburg School District, so you'll hear from her next.
Thank you all for having me tonight. And I just wanted to say that a big part of the African American or Black experience for me is family or togetherness. Oftentimes, when I think of African American history or Black history, I realize that a big part of Black culture is togetherness and family. And so I oftentimes try to take that over into my everyday classroom. And as Erica said, I teach here in the Warrensburg School District and have been teaching here now for 22 years. And one of the things that I do is every year I tell my students, we are a family. And so in thinking about that, I decided tonight, Erica had said to me, maybe I would have a student who had some artwork, or maybe my sister would because she's a teacher at the middle school. And so this is actually one of her pieces. When I think of family and togetherness, I think of this piece of artwork that she had painted several years ago. And of course, she was inspired to paint that and thinking about family and my sister and her children. So I wanted to share that with you tonight. And then I also, as I said, every year with my children in my classroom, I tell them that we are a big family, no matter who we are, no matter what we've been through, no matter what trials we may face. We talk about respecting one another and taking care of each other. And so every year I try to highlight literature and works and things like that within our community, within our country, within the world. And so I oftentimes highlight books, and this is one of the books that I chose to share with them this year. And it's called I Am Enough by Grace Byers. I'm not going to show you all the pictures, but it's not a very long read. If you would just allow me to read those pages very quickly to you. Like the sun, I'm here to shine. Like the voice, I'm here to sing. Like the bird, I am here to fly and soar high over everything. Like the trees, I'm here to grow. Like the mountains, here to stand. Like time, I'm here to be and be everything I can. Like the champ, I'm here to fight. Like the heart, I'm here to love. Like a ladder, here to climb. And like the air, to rise above. Like the wind, I'm here to push. Like a rope, I'm here to pull. Like the rain, I'm here to pour and drip and fall until I'm full. Like the moon, I'm here to dream. Like the student, here to learn. Like the water, here to swell. Like the fire, here to burn. Like the winner, I'm here to win. And if I don't, I get up again. I know that I may sometimes cry, but even then, I'm here to try. I'm not meant to be like you. You're not meant to be like me. Sometimes we will get along and sometimes we will disagree. I know that we don't look the same, our skin, our eyes, our hair, our frame, but that does not dictate our worth. We both have places here on earth. And in the end, we are right here to live a life of love, not fear, to help each other when it's tough, to say together, I am enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krista, and please give our thanks to Sarah, who shared her lovely artwork on this evening. Next, you'll hear from James Collins. James is a student at Warrensburg High School, and he is going to share a list of recommended movies that share the African American experience.
Um, Freedom Ride, Malcolm X, Pride, Selma, The Guardian, Ali, um, Hidden Figures, The Help, and Green Book, and Roots.
Thanks, James. So those are top 10. So these 10 movies that have really documented the African American experience, and of course the list is long. Actually, there is a list of 52 suggested movies, and there's about 138 suggested documentaries. But if you're interested in that, you can Google them, and that full list is out there. So to wrap up our portion of our presentation, we're going to have a poem, and I'm actually going to let Rich introduce Gerard because Rich has had several interactions with him and was upon his suggestion that he come tonight. So we're very excited to have Gerard with us. So Rich, you.
Thank you, Erica. I'm the city liaison to the Diversity and Inclusion Commission, so that's kind of part of my role here as well. I met Gerard earlier this summer, and Gerard is a very impressive young man. He's a member of our United States Air Force. He's here in his personal capacity tonight, though. He first read a poem at a rally I attended, and it was called Tired. And it was very emotional and very touching. And he's done it a couple of other times, and I really enjoyed it. And tonight he's actually sharing with us a new poem that he has. And so without further ado, I'll turn it over to Gerard Peterson.
This poem is called Actors. As the curtain falls, I'm still repeating my lines, recalling the words I was chanting in front of crowds, wondering if people are still listening, wondering if the show ends when people stop listening. Sir, we need you to leave. There's another performance. Ah, I forgot, this is show business. I forget that I need to wait for another sidewalk or neighborhood to be staged, emptied, riddled with bullet holes and chalk, empty shell casings and actors and bodies, I mean extras. Another script for actors to read when they don't care enough to memorize their lines. Another check to pay the crying actress, more money to pay actors who get paid vacation between shoots. You can always tell because they wear the same outfits. They shine the spotlights themselves, they yell, they only know a few lines by heart, and they spray more than words at any actor too dark to be seen as important. But isn't that how it works when you have stage presence? Isn't that what happens when they forget your name in the credits? Isn't that acting? Isn't that theater? You forget about the movie after you watch it or hear the reviews until they come out with a sequel that seems like they put even less care into the story they craft. Man begging for his mother, #1, stalked child, #1, runner, #1, Starbucks extras 1 and 2, sleeping woman, the man that fired back. How many people are left nameless when the curtain drops this year, last year, next year, every year? Why are there 20 sobbing mothers in the same cast with the same line, "That was my baby"? As the year of marches and protests draws to a close, I can't help but feel the silence. The overwhelming sense that people want things to return to normal, as if this was a movie that just ended, as if this wasn't real, as if we were actors. And scene. The curtain falls, I'm still repeating my lines, recalling the words I was once chanting in front of crowds, wondering if people were still listening, wondering if the show really stops when they do. Thank you.
This is our presentation for tonight. Thank you so much for having the Diversity and Inclusion Commission support this endeavor. We really appreciate your time this evening, and we appreciate being here.
And Netflix has got a series called 14th Amendment. I don't know if anybody has seen that yet. I got told about it because one of my airmen is actually the assistant director in that. Will Smith is the narrator for it, and I've got to the first 2 episodes, and it's really, really good. So
Yeah, there's some really good things on Netflix this month. So yeah, Netflix is definitely something to check out. Also, PBS has some great programming. I love our public broadcasting station, and so they have the Black Church is being promoted right now, and so very, very interesting. Thanks, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much for that. All right, first reading only. Let's see here. An ordinance authorizing the Human Resource Director and the City Clerk to execute an agreement for services with GOV HR USA for city manager recruitment services.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Again, this is a first reading of an ordinance authorizing the Human Resources Director and the City Clerk to execute that agreement with HR USA for the City Manager Recruitment Services. Back on December 14th, the decision was made to issue a request for proposals for these services. On December 17th, that request for proposals was placed on the request for bids tab on the city website. By Friday evening, 5 p.m. on January 22nd, we had received a total of 5 qualifying proposals. And the firms that submitted those proposals include Soft HQ, Management Partners Incorporated, Baker Tilly USA, LLP, Government Professional Solutions, and GovHR USA. Not too long after, a selection rating process was undertaken by a committee made up of 2 city council members, along with 4 department heads from the city of Warrensburg. Each committee member utilized a scoring system and rated each proposal based on capacity and capability of these firms, customer relations, responsiveness and timeliness, experience, competence, and expertise, merits of the proposal itself, including the scope of work and approach for addressing those tasks, timeline and proposed schedule, as well as cost of services. This scoring process was completed and tabulated to determine the top firm on February 11th. I did place follow-up phone calls to other cities utilizing the firm that came up as the top scoring firm. There were 3 individuals with 2 cities in the city in Missouri, and they all received excellent reports from them. Based on the overall scoring and process utilized, the staff is recommending GovHR USA as the recruiter of choice perform these city manager recruitment and be required to complete the standard consultant services agreement, which can be viewed in the city clerk's office. The physical impact of this is not included in the current budget. However, the cost of the services is $21,000, and this cost, if approved, will be included in the mid-year budget amendments. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
I don't have any questions, and I think staff did an excellent job. I called the mayor and told him I was going to talk a little bit on it. I want my peers to think about a process where we look at the first and second, and I'll share with you my ratings on those 2 were actually 1 point different. Okay, and Baker Tilly, when I looked at the rubric that we used, I thought it was good and qualified. But one of the things that came to me was GovHR, which I rate highly. I think they're very capable. But Baker Tilly actually is made up of a group of diverse folks. And as I looked at how we were scoring them and looked at competence and thought about the future of Warrensburg and the strategic value of the next city manager, I thought that we would, potentially receive more folks of a diverse nature that would be more comfortable with Baker Tilly. So I did reach out to Doug to make sure that I wasn't stepping across any boundaries. And as long as we're looking at the scoring process, we can do that. I've tried to think through the best process to do it, and I'm not sure I know how, but I think those 2 were close enough in scoring that we as a council need to look at them a little deeper. So any questions or?
If I remember correctly, those are the 2 larger national firms that we're talking about, of the 5?
I don't know about larger. I know they both had significant experience.
Because there was one, I'm drawing a blank on the names. I don't have my notes in front of me.
Yeah.
That was female-owned.
That was government. I think I saw in the government one, they said they were female-owned.
Yeah. So.
I mean, some of the others too. I only saw.
No, there was only one that emphasized that. So the 2 that we're talking about right now were, which ones?
Well, it'd be the top 2
Right.
candidates, Baker Tilly and GovHR, and they both scored very well.
Yeah.
We did have 6 individuals that did go through and rate those. And so in order to normalize those results a little bit, what we did then in the process, because each of those individuals rated as the top 1, 2, or 3 a little bit differently.
Mhm.
So what we did in that was each individual's top firm got 5 points, the second got 4 points, the third got 3 points, on down the line, and that was put in a matrix, and then those points were totaled to normalize the differences in what different people rated different firms, to kind of smooth the results out a little bit. And the GovHR did come out 3 points higher, utilizing that process.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, and I don't disagree with the process. I understand the normalization. The way I thought about it as I was approaching the questions, I think we asked the questions slightly different, but it's not something that, so I don't know exactly next step, but it was something I felt enough about bringing up to the peers on that we look at.
So are you wanting to essentially have the city council look at those 2 and evaluate us, read through those 2 as a council, and then score them as ourselves and before we move forward with the vote. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, I
Or
think we need to-
does that sound fair, I guess?
it does. I think it would be worth our time to look at those, and then it's not, just my thoughts on it. Okay, it's the council's on it, but I think it's important.
And I don't see any, I don't have any issue with that. They were, I mean, they were very close. I read through all 5 and, I mean, I had rated them slightly different than some of the others, but I have to generally agree with kind of the breakdown, but those 2 were so close that, I mean, and I feel that this is a decision that the council needs to be intimately involved with the decision-making process. So, I mean, if the council wants to take a look at those top 2, I'm okay with that.
So I guess-
It's only gonna take maybe 30 minutes to an hour to read through their proposals and score them. It's actually not a bad read.
Would that interfere with the process, Doug? If we only looked at, the 3 of us looked at only those 2? Or would we need to look at all 5? I mean, I don't know. I've never.
You can do that in a round process if the council feels that's appropriate.
Okay.
That there was not a specified mechanism for evaluating the proposals.
Okay.
That went out as a part of the process, so you're free to, say that these are our top 2, and then we want to look at those top 2.
Okay.
If that's the council's pleasure, if you don't have to do it that way, but you're certainly welcome.
Okay. What are you guys thinking?
I understand what you're saying, but I also understand that, we put our faith into 6 total department heads, 4 department heads and 2 council.
Yeah, 6 total.
Okay. So I'm kind of torn at which way to go. But I understand what you're saying, Scott. It's like,
I'm willing, I mean, I'll tell you, me personally, I feel very comfortable with what the 6 people's decision was, but I'm also willing to look at those 2 packages. So I'm comfortable either way here. I can vote tonight. and
yeah,
be
but we
comfortable.
can't say either or.
Well, right, you're right, but I'm just saying, so I'm looking over here to say, what's your guys' thoughts? Because
I'm like you, I could go either way with it, because
Yeah.
I understand both ways, but. Uh-oh, Casey.
Well, tonight it's set up as a first reading only.
Correct.
And so.
Well, that's true.
I would, welcome your invitation for you guys that served on the committee, as well as we could reach out to Greg, but for the 3 of us that were not involved in that, if we had questions and wanted to dig a little deeper, we'd be happy to reach out to you and accept your invitation to ask more questions and details. And should we decide to overturn the recommendation, we have every right to do so. Or ask more questions
I wasn't thinking.
leading up to the council meeting, or even at the next council meeting, before we make a final decision.
I wasn't thinking it was first, like 1 reading only.
So, quick question, Scott. So you had said that if the questions were worded slightly differently, you think it may have gone a different direction or could have affected. What would you have changed on the wording?
Well, that's the thing.
Or what questions would you have liked to have seen that we didn't involve?
Well,
include?
that's the struggle point, because I think the questions are valid, but as I thought about the information after, and some of it is, you reflect on stuff, and so I turned it into Greg, and I think staff did an outstanding job, but the more I thought about it, and I thought about where we're at in society today, and et cetera, the definitions of what I call expertise probably would have expanded a bit to, and I'm obviously telegraphing that I'm wanting a group that will really invite folks of a diverse nature, whether it be female, race, or what. And both of those 2, if you read through both those packages, they both belong to a significant number of groups that are diverse, et cetera, but one group is more diverse than the other. And so I guess that's the expertise side. And is that,
See, I don't think you need to belong to a group in order to
I
take that
agree.
into consideration.
So, but when I look at expertise of how they're gonna go about it, I just felt that's important. So, but that's just how, that's where I'm at. So I'm not going to, if council wants to go this way, I'm not going to say no. But I think it's with the strategic value of the next hire, I really want to do a good job.
And I understand that, I respect that. I just wanted to drill a little bit deeper into where your thoughts were on, specifically on questions to ask. It's not sharp enough in my mind to go back, and I'd have to look at the packets again, refresh my memory, but I mean, like you said, it's the first reading. We can all take the time to take a look at it between now and what, 2 weeks from now?
Well, I guess my question is are we wanting to look at the second package? I mean, because are we saying have these two
I think,
bring it to us and
I
say?
think Scott's just telling us that number 1 and number 2 were really close.
Right.
Right, for sure.
And so for us that have to make a decision next time, that we should look hard to make sure that, 1 or 2 points didn't swing another way, or we, in hindsight, we might have changed something. And so if we could, all 5 of us look a little deeper, between now and then, and if we have specific questions, I think we can direct that to you two that sat on the panel, as well as Greg, to clarify any questions that we have, and if we are seeing something going in a different direction or whatever, we can be prepared to discuss that openly at the next meeting.
For what it's worth, I would suggest taking the time to, look at those 2 packets and read through them. Like I said, if it takes you an hour to read through both of those packets, I'd be really surprised. I'm dyslexic, and I didn't have, it's not exactly a riveting read, but it is
It's an important
well put
decision.
together. And I think the significance of this decision warrants at least that level of engagement from everyone on the council.
And I would also note for city council this evening that tonight is only a first reading. You would have approved at a second reading at next meeting on March 8th. And it is absolutely up to the governing body to approve at a first and second reading if we're worried about timeline and if you do want to go with the other group instead.
So can we make that determination at the next meeting? Or will we have to amend the agenda before we get to that discussion point?
You need to make the decision.
You're not going to be able to make it at that next meeting, because if you pass an ordinance by 2 readings at the same meeting, it has to be available in the city clerk's office before the meeting. So you're going to make that decision, and if you go in a different direction, you're going to have to bring it back.
But we can bring it back at this next meeting after that as a first and second reading tonight.
Do we have the capability to call a special session?
Certainly you do.
As it was pointed out, like, when we first got into this process, we have time. Like, there's not a rush.
Right.
And it's better to do it right. It's better to set it up for success at the front end than rush it at the beginning and then, never be able to recover and get the candidate that we're really looking for. So I'm willing to be patient. Even if it takes 4 weeks to get there, I'd rather make the right decision.
So I'm gonna ask staff to send, because you guys already have it, to send us the package for the second one.
With the rating sheet as well. If you could share that and, redact names or whatever you need to do.
Plus, I think it would be good for you to see the ratings of the entire task force as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so staff can send the 3 of us the rating sheet and that package, and then that way, we can take time to review it also, and then.
Can you resend that to me? Because I gave my copies back to you when I handed in the scoring sheet.
And I think the one thing I want to make sure I express, I think the process we ran, Greg, I think did well. When I got the email and you did a very good memo to the team, and then Doug's next step was to come to council. So I didn't reach out to staff or even other council members, other than I did tell the mayor that I was going to have a discussion so that it was just open and transparent and public. So the process was fine and the professionalism was good. I thought about it and thought it was worth the discussion.
That's why I suggested, I think it would be a good thing for everyone to look at the different scoring for all of
Yep, I agree.
the committee, for you guys to see as well, to be transparent.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Greg. And everybody that was involved in that, putting that together for us. Let's see here.
So we're gonna do the first reading at the next meeting?
We'll do the second reading next week.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and, okay. But we don't have to vote on first readings, right?
No, nothing to vote on
Okay,
first reading.
all right.
Second reading is when we'll do the vote. And then if we determine there's a reason to change our plan, then you vote that down and we can go to the next meeting. Other business? Appearances to the council not listed on the agenda? I don't think there's anything there. Anybody on Zoom that wants to be not listed on the agenda? Nobody's raising their hand. Nobody's raising their hand. Okay. Miscellaneous matters from the mayor and our city council. Hopefully the city survived with no frozen pipes. So, no. That's on your stuff, okay. So, I know we didn't survive anything, so. You got anything?
I think they did an awesome job for the street department for what they had to tackle day after day after day. And I think there was a thing on the computer or on Facebook or something today that National Weather Service said we went from 61 degrees to 32 below wind chill in a week. So I think the staff did awesome as usual, but awesome keeping stuff open and running.
Oh, yeah. Do you have anything?
Nope.
All right. Let's see here. Mayor appointments to boards and commissions. And I have one. So I wanted to appoint John Paul Shachecki, I think is how you pronounced it, to the Parks and Rec Board. I did talk to him. I talked to him a couple weeks ago. He had to make sure he could clear his Wednesday schedule with his bosses. He was able to clear that. We talked for a little while as far as what Parks and Rec's got going on and stuff, and he seemed to be on board and ready to get involved in that. So I think he'll be a good candidate. He's got a couple of kids already involved in there, and he's also part of a church, so should be a good candidate.
Move to approve?
Brooks,
Yes.
Holbrook,
Yes.
Lennon,
Yes.
Fishman.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see here. All right. City manager report?
Before I go into my report, I believe Barb has something she wants to share with all of you.
Okay.
Thank you, Danielle. Mayor and City Council, the Love What's Local Committee would like to remind everybody that Restaurant Week starts this Friday night. Friday at noon, probably. We eat at noon. So it will start Friday, run through March 7th. And this year for Restaurant Week, we have a corporate sponsor. Central Bank has stepped up and provided funds so that we could be more inclusive than ever this year. We want to make sure we support our restaurants. They have definitely taken a hit with COVID over the last year. It's affected their sales as well as their employees, and we want to really show our support for them. So it will not be the normal restaurant week. It's different in that all restaurants in Warrensburg, we want to just encourage anybody to go out, either eat out, do takeout, dine in, do curbside pickup, somehow support a local restaurant this year. And to encourage that, the sponsorship will be used to give out 10 for 10 days, 20 meals, 20 winners. So committee members will be going out either for breakfast and lunch and then for dinner each of the 10 days and hitting up one of the restaurants in town to do a free meal. It might be a curbside, it might be a takeout, it might be a dine-in, but we have committee members that'll be going out 20 times throughout the 10 days in order to pick a winner 20 times and do 20 random free meals. So we encourage you to support your local restaurant and possibly be a winner this time around. Be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
All right, thank you. Sounds like fun.
Thanks.
Good thing I suspended my diet for one more week.
I do have one update from Marcy with the WCVB and the Missouri Division of Tourism Marketing Match Grant 2.0 award amount is $21,739, and it will be used for digital campaign that will be running in May and June. So we're excited about that. You will see at the dais there, we have provided a rack card. So this would be an informational piece that we are going to be distributing when we have an opportunity to present to community groups or even possibly, maybe sitting out at the reception area for folks who are coming into City Hall to share with them information about the GO bond issuance that we have is going to be on the ballot on April 6th. If you have any feedback, let us know. I will say that Mr. Harris has signed off on it, so we cannot do a complete and total rewrite. He has given it his seal of approval. We are looking forward to opportunities to get in front of communities, talking to our Rotary clubs, Lions Club, and other community groups. So if you have any HOA or any group that you want us to reach out to, please let us know. We will be doing a couple virtual public meetings as well, so that will be information for you to look for. We do have a frequently asked questions that we are going to be putting on the website as well, and we will have that available to all of you. So be looking for more information on that. My third update is Mayor Jacobs mentioned that hope that we had survived any water freezing pipes, and unfortunately we did not. Between the time that I left at 5:30 and the time that Gary left at 6:30, there had been a water break in the Public Works conference room, and it flooded my office, Peggy's office, Jason's office, and had even made its way all the way up to the break room downstairs. Yeah. So it's amazing how much water can come out of one of those half-inch pipes in an hour. So we are mitigating that, working with Greg and our insurance company, and they've been great. I'm understanding that they're very busy. Councilmember Kushner mentioned that the Public Works crew did a great job. I will share with you all that they did work 28 hours of overtime this pay period. So they are tired and they are looking forward to this warmer weather. My last and final update for you all is just a reminder that we have a joint park board meeting on Wednesday at 7 o'clock this week.
It's really nice, the last meeting and this one, to hear updates from the different departments. I appreciate that a great deal. It's fun to be able to share with the community the cool stuff we do. Because we hear the other stuff, so it's fun to be able to share that out. Thank you.
Yeah, I like that weekly update you send out too.
Yeah.
Got anything, Gary? No. Anything new, Greg? No. All right. Director's finance report?
Finance report talks about the January income and expenses and what have you that you've seen this month. The February receipts have not looked as good. So the February sales tax money was down, as well as we got notice on the fuel tax, and it continues to be down because nobody's going anywhere still for that. So just the upside to that is the use tax, and so the use tax has come in, and it's still exceeding 50% of receipts that we received last year.
Got anything back there, Dewey? Fire department?
I do.
All right.
The staff who wanted COVID shots have received their second set. As of Friday, we had some that didn't feel so good afterwards over the weekend, some who didn't bother at all. But I believe we're at 100% of those who want to have the shots done.
Thank you. Chief?
We are hiring, so if you guys know anyone who wants to be a police officer, I lost 2 more last week, so. We're down to 8. You know, we hired 2, so we lost 2, we hired 2. Just the nature of the beast, but we would love to bring some new people in. We did get an application last week, so we're working hard to fill those spots.
Cindy? Doug? All right. I think that's everything. So we'll have a closed session, so adjourn. No, not according to this, we don't.